BodyBags, where horror lies.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to BodyBags. It's week 182, and I'm your Sunday host, Steve Bourgie86 here again. Yes, guys, and of course, this is the Sunday review, and if any of you guys follow like any of the news that's been happening today, you all know that actor Bill Paxton has passed away today, so I kind of saw that I wanted to do like a review based around like in tribute to Bill Paxton. So I was actually shocked that this actually was never done before. I actually looked it up to see if like even like any of my past hosts before I was even on BodyBags did this, and it wasn't there. So I was like, why not just do it for Bill Paxton? And this is actually one of my favorite horror films of all time. Actually, also it's in my top 10. And that, of course, is 1987's Near Dark, yes. Of course, if you know about this film, you know it, of course, stars Bill Paxton, Lance Henriksen, Janet Goldstein, who were actually all in Alien, which I'll get into, like, the connection between this and Aliens in a minute. And, of course, the Alien connection is this film was directed by Catherine Bigelow, who at the time was married to James Cameron. So a lot of like Cameron influence was in like some of her earlier films, like this one in Strange Days in particular. And a lot of alumni James Cameron actors were in Near Dark. This film also stars Jenny Wright, Adrian Pazider, I believe that's how you pronounce the main actor's name in this film, and of course we have appearance by Tim Thomerson in this film. Of course, star of like Trancers, Doll Man, numerous other projects that I've seen him in over the years. So the main plot is when we're introduced to our main character of Caleb, who's this young man who lives with his father and his sister on this like their father's ranch. And unbeknownst to her, he ends up meeting May one night, who's played by Jenny Wright, and May seduces him and actually bites him. And what this bite does, it ends up infecting him with the virus, so he ends up becoming part of like this group of drifters that May is part of, which is led by Jesse, played by Lance Henriksen, and Diamondback, played by Janet Goldstein, and Severin, played by Bill Paxton. And what this group is pretty much like this group of like vampire-like beings who go around and surviving off people that they kill. And they weren't really cool with like May turning Caleb into one of them, so they give him like a training course and set him on his way to try to become part of the group. And once that's not clear that that's not the way he is, it ends up being him trying to get away from these people and survive, especially with this vampire virus that's inside of him. That is pretty much the main plot of the film without going too crazy what goes into it. Now, I gotta say, like the first time I watched this film, very cool way of like telling like this way of a vampire film without the ways that they actually kill people aren't your usual typical like ways of vampires kill, because they use weapons, of course, and they have like this young I forgot to mention Homer, who's like the youngest. He's like a adolescent vampire who's played by Joshua Miller, and I gotta say that the whole like ensemble cast in this film is terrific. Like all of them work well together. Like, of course, Bill Paxton, Janet Goldstein, and Lance Henriksen just came off Alien together. So they have like that family bond of actors in a way, and it really dwells into their characters in this film. Of course, Bill Paxton as Severin is probably one of the most iconic characters in this film, especially on movie posters, which if you've seen the thumbnail, that's pretty much the movie poster of Near Dark, was Bill Paxton in all gory fashion. And it's just an iconic scene, and especially a lot of like there's this restaurant scene that happens. They stop at this restaurant, And it's a very iconic scene with like Bill Paxton's character and the mayhem that ensues in that scene if you have seen this film before. But really fun film. And another thing I really love about Near Dark is its soundtrack. Of course, the soundtrack is done by a progressive rock band, Tangerine Dream, who done numerous scores that I loved growing up, like Thief and Sorcerer, Legend. The list goes on of like all these iconic like film scores that they did, and this one is really sets the tone and is well with the story and the darkness of this tale. Yeah, I really enjoy Near Dark a lot. It's of course Catherine Bigelow went on to do like bigger films. Like of course she did Strange Days a few years later, and went on to win an Oscar for Best Director and like won like The Hurt Locker and Zero Dark 30. Really wish she went back to like her roots and like horror, because she made like one of the best vampire horror films of the 80s, of the big like 4 vampire films that I know of that came from the 80s, like Near Dark, Vamp, Fright Night, Hunger. That's like the big 4 vampire films that I know of, and I actually love all 4 of those films for different reasons, but I love like the dark tone of Near Dark, and its amazing soundtrack is outstanding, and the ensemble characters is making it one of like the top 10 best vampire films of that time period, in my opinion. So if I had to rate it, I'm going to give it a solid 9 out of 10. It's one of my favorite watches because it is a film that actually did grow on me, because it is a different way that you had to settle with like the way they handle vampirism in this film. And you got to respect that, and I really like the drifter aspect of it. So, awesomeness, and if you're a big fan of Bill Paxton, he is fucking awesome in this film. So, 9 out of 10 for Near Dark. Alright guys, as always, this is my review. As always, rest in peace to Bill Paxton. Thank you for like all the roles in cinema that you have done over the years. Of course, went on to direct one of the best horror films of the 2000s with Frailty, which is a very outstanding film in its own right, and starring some great films through all the genres of films that he has starred in, like especially with his work with James Cameron back in the day, like working on sets of like Galaxy of Terror and stuff, to becoming an actor and growing in stature and doing things for Hollywood in general. Really fantastic and charismatic dude. So this review was dedicated to him, and I hope you enjoyed it. So as always, next week will be our theme week on BodyBags, and it's going to be found footage week. Really do like found footage. I can't wait to see what films that my co-host chose. So I hope you enjoy that week, and as always, I'll see you next week, guys. Peace out.